Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we basically cover a lot of, interesting sports, debates and topics, and where we give you a fresh take on some of the things that we see happening in the sports world. So I want to welcome you guys to the episode today. And in today's episode, the title is Why the Clippers May Dominate in Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. And also, if you want to check out the show, it's going to be on the Dreamerspro Podcast, which we're going to have linked in the description below. And one more thing, we're also thinking about launching a premium platform, so we're going to link that in the description below, where we want you guys to just go ahead and vote on whatever you guys think. Just make sure you vote. We're going to put that in the description below, because your feedback will be greatly appreciated. So with that being said, let's just get straight into this video today. So it's been a bit of a crazy week in the NBA, especially in the Western Conference playoffs pictures, looking at what's been happening with the Los Angeles Clippers going into this season, and all throughout the lockdown and everything. I've always contended that I thought that the Clippers were going to win the NBA title, and going into the playoffs, I was pretty excited about it. And they had an interesting first round against the Dallas Mavericks. It was a bit of a seesaw, but they ended up closing out the Mavs in 6 games. Now, going into this round, I didn't actually have them playing against the Denver Nuggets, so I hadn't given this team much thought. I thought they were going to be playing against the Utah Jazz, in which case me and whoever picked the Utah Jazz to come out of that series would have been wrong. So they've been playing against the Denver Nuggets, and it's the first time I've really had a chance to look at their team, because I didn't cover them much throughout the regular season, like most sports networks, unless you're a Denver Nuggets fan, or maybe from that area, you just like the team. So watching them play against the Clippers this playoffs has been a new experience for me, and I've gotten a chance to really see Jamal Murray up close, and Nikola Jokic, and some of the other players up close, and they have a really solid team. I think they were the third team. I think they were the 3rd seed, I believe, in the Western Conference to close out the season. I believe so. And they've shown that they've been a pretty good team, and they pushed the Clippers to 6 games. Now, we got to go back and look at actually what the hell has been happening in these last few games. The Clippers have led in the last 2 games against the Dallas Mavericks, okay? And it's fair to say that they could have won both of those games, but due to a lack of concentration or whatever it is, they got into malaise, their offense got into a rut. Whatever the case is, I don't really know, especially after their last loss to the team. It was very befuddling. I was watching that game, and they had a lead, and I was watching the third quarter, and I just saw them begin to just crumble and capitulate. And at a certain point, I think they didn't score a bucket for about 4 or 5 minutes, and I was just looking to myself like, how's this possible? They were attempting shots, but they weren't able to convert on any of those attempts. So they ended up dropping that game, and of course, all hell broke loose, with Clipper fans. Now, let me say, I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan, okay? Kawhi Leonard's my favorite current active basketball player, and Kobe's my favorite basketball player of all time. And watching Kobe Bryant go through his championship runs, I remember when Kobe was in the playoffs that year with Pau Gasol, and I believe they lost in the NBA Finals to the Boston Celtics. I went through those emotions. I mean, if some Clippers fans think this is bad, imagine, because the Clippers have never, I think, made it to the Western Conference Finals. Imagine supporting your team, getting to the finals, and then losing. Imagine what type of summer that was. And I remember being in New York, and this guy I used to argue with was just like, "Yo, man, where you at, son? Blah, 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 blah. What happened to your Lakers? Blah, blah, blah." And I had to eat that. I had to take that on the chin for one full summer, until they came back the next year and made it to the championship round and finally beat the Orlando Magic. And I remember that playoff run that they went on when they were playing against the Houston Rockets with Yao Ming and Ron Artest, and they pushed them to 7 games, sort of like what this team did. And the Lakers were the better team, and everybody was like, the Lakers are not focused, and they're disappointed in the Lakers, and all of this different stuff. And they had a game 7 in which they won. Okay, so I've been through that. That's why I don't react the way most people react when these type of things happen. Am I disappointed that the Clippers lost? Hell yeah, but I've been down this road before. So, and I didn't write off my Lakers, Kobe at the time then, and they won. And this time, I feel the same way, and that's why I feel like the Clippers are going to dominate in this game, which I'm going to get to. Now, the Clippers have already shown us they can beat Denver. I think anyone watching this series can say that the Clippers are the better team. However, They haven't shown to have the championship concentration. I think what they need is to be concentrated for 48 minutes, and this is going to also come down to coaching. I think Doc Rivers needs to have a pulse on his team. Notice when they're beginning to get into a rut. If he needs to call a timeout, call a timeout. Get them back into their flow. If you notice they're going through a stretch where they can't really score, where they can't really put up points, call a timeout, run a play. If that doesn't work, call another timeout. Make sure you don't allow the team to just get into a situation where they go for minutes without scoring. If you notice that their defensive intensity is beginning to dip, call a timeout, even if they have a lead, even if they have a 20-point lead. You can't afford to have any mental lapses against this Denver Nuggets team, because they're not going to go away, and they've shown that. What I think is going to happen is this. I think that the Clippers are going to come out with a sense of urgency in that first quarter. And I think so are the Denver Nuggets. But in this case, I think the Clippers are going to come out with a sense of urgency. And I think they're going to punch the Denver Nuggets in the mouth in the first quarter. I think you're probably going to see Patrick Beverley play in extended minutes. I think the Clippers are going to jump out to an early lead. And I think that as the game wanes on, I actually don't think it's going to be a close game. This is just my opinion, okay? The reason being is because the Clippers have had their wake-up call, okay? We saw something similar to that when they played against the Dallas Mavericks, when they stifled them in that first quarter. And then what I noticed what happened was, once Patrick Beverley went out of the game, things began to crumble. The thing that most people may not understand is that Patrick Beverley is the fire of that team, right? He's the one that gets everybody paid. It's not Montrezl Harrell, it's Patrick Beverley. I don't care if Patrick Beverley scores or not. What I need him to be is on the floor with his defensive intensity. Sometimes he's a little bit overzealous, he's a little over aggressive, and he picks up quick fouls, but I don't really care. What I'm looking for is to see how they come out in that first quarter, and I think they're going to be very aggressive. I think they're probably going to jump out to an early lead, and I think they're going to keep the lead. I don't think it's going to be a close game. Count me, paint me, whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be a close game. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be a close game. And when they win this game, which I do predict that they win, I don't think it's going to be close when they win. If we look at the leaders of the respective teams, if we look at Kawhi Leonard, these playoffs, he's averaging 29 points a game, shooting 50% from the field, 33% from the three-point line, which I don't like. He's shooting 86% from the free throw line, which is great. Getting you 9.6 rebounds, so it's pretty much virtually getting you 10 rebounds, getting you 5.5 assists, which is fantastic. And his assist numbers are actually up in the playoffs, and getting you 2.3 steals. So he's been there. Paul George in the playoffs he's beginning to get his offense back. He's now averaging 21 points. I believe at one point he was averaging like 17 points or so, 19 points. So he's averaging 21 points a game. His field goal percentage is still quite low at 41%, which I don't like. His 3-point percent is 35%, but he had a 30-plus point game again the last game. Free throw shoot has been sensational. He's averaging 92.6% from the free throw line, getting you 6.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.5 steals. So Paul George has been there as well. If we look at the Denver Nuggets leaders, Nikola Jokic, who has just been practically unguardable, and I think it's probably going to remain the same. This next game, he's averaging 26 points a game. This playoffs, 52% from the field, which is understandable. He's a big guy, shooting 46% from the three, so he's actually shooting better from the three than Kawhi and Paul George. Incidentally, shooting 80% from the free throw line, so he's reliable from the free throw line as a big, getting you 9.9 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 0.8 blocks a game. So he's been really good. Jamal Murray, though, however, came back down to earth when he had those multiple 50-point games in the first series they played. This series, now overall he's averaging 26 points, shooting 49% from the field, which is great, 50% from the three-point line, which is fantastic, 90% from the free throw line, 5.1 rebounds, 6.5 assists. So he's been having some really great playmaking, and about just a steal, just under a shade, just under a steal per game. So these are the stats of their respective leaders. But for me to just give you my overall opinion, I don't think it's going to be a close game. I could be wrong, but it's just the feeling that I have. I've seen the Clippers get out to a lead. The only thing is they need to keep a lead. If they keep a lead, it won't be close. So for me, I'm picking the Clippers to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be a close game. Now, If they end up losing the game, then I'm definitely going to do a reaction video to that, giving you my thoughts and opinions on that, and I will get on people, including Kawhi, if he underperforms. I have no problem getting on Kawhi Leonard if he underperforms in this game, or whoever, if it's coaching, if it's Paul George. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion on it, tomorrow, or whatever, when the game is decided. But for this particular game, I just don't think it's going to be close, and for all the reasons I've given you, because I think the Clippers have their wake-up call. I think a lot of the people that kind of panicked are going to come back down to earth. But what I also think is that even if the Clippers advance the series and they go play the Lakers, and if they get down in that series too, I think probably some of those people are going to panic again until they finally see the Clippers get past the finish line, which is understandable because the Clippers have never won a title. So I understand the anxiety that some of the fans have is pretty normal. So I understand that, guys, but I think everything's going to be okay. But this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm not like Skip Bayless. I don't change with the wind, right? I don't have an opinion one day, have another opinion the other day, have another opinion. No, I believe what I say from the beginning. If I thought that the Clippers would lose after 3 games, I wouldn't pick them to win. I don't think you got to be consistent with your pick, man. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Everyone can be wrong, but I don't, think people respect you when you're always flip-flopping across your opinions. And that's one thing I think we a little bit different with that. I don't change my opinions, like you see with Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless. And that's one thing you got to respect about Shannon Sharp. Even if he sticks his opinion, he sticks to what he thinks is going to happen. And I think they're going to win. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think is going to happen in this Game 7? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. And please make sure you go ahead and vote in the community post. Just go ahead and leave your vote, leave your comment on whatever you guys think. We really appreciate that. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day.